Hello and welcome to the Cavern of Terror.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Cavern of Terror, and welcome to my Scream Season 3 Resurrection Episode 4 spoiler review. I don't think I'm ever going to come up with a better title for this thing. Okay, so you know the deal by now. Before we get into the spoilers for Episode 4, we need to do a quick recap about what happened in Episode 3 of Scream Resurrection. Well, what happened in that episode was the fact that we found out that Marcus was not killed by Luther, the character played by Tony Todd. He was attacked by him, yes, but he was not killed by him. He actually died of starvation, I believe that's how the story went, in the back of one of the vehicles that was in Luther's salvage yard. He got in the trunk and was not found until 6 months later. Another big thing that happened in this episode was the death of Manny. He was killed in a car explosion. I really do apologize by not talking about that kill in that episode. I should have expanded on that a little bit more. He was essentially burned alive in the vehicle. We didn't really see any, special effects there. That's why I kind of glossed over the kill. But he was burned alive in Kim's vehicle. Okay, so with that out of the way, we can finally get into the spoilers for episode 4 of Scream Resurrection. Guys, I'm not going to lie, I really liked this episode. It was something new for the Scream franchise. We got Ghostface basically giving them an ultimatum. He basically went to all the group members, we got Amir, we got Olivia, we got Dion, we got Kim, and we have Beth. And Ghostface basically says, you all need to text out a name for me to kill next. So he basically gives them an ultimatum. He's like, put someone out there or I'm coming after everyone. And I really like that because that was not something that Ghostface has done before. I don't know if he did it in the seasons before this, but it was something new for me and I really enjoyed it. That added sort of a ticking clock to this episode. I think they actually did have a time to get these names in by. And Dion is the one that says, you know what? Just put my name. Ghostface has been after me from the jump, and it should be my name moving forward. Just like in the last episode, everyone seems to pair up here. I mean, we have Amir and Beth, and we will get into that because holy shit, that goes south really quick. And then we have Olivia and Dion. That goes pretty crazy as well. And then we have Kim. Kim's story is kind of pretty quiet in this one. She's basically dealing with all the fallout of Manny's death. She's hanging out with her family. And the funniest thing about this episode for me with her is her up on the top of Manny's building. Basically, she does what Manny said that he wanted for her to do if he had died, or if he had died what he wanted. So she's up on the top of this building. And then Hawkins shows up, Dion's friend from the football team. We find out that Manny and Hawkins were actually in a relationship. It was a fun little fake out scene here, and I actually like that we got a little bit more development for a character that really wasn't utilized very much in this season. I thought he was funny, and I really did want him around a little bit more, but it was fun actually getting to know this character a little bit more. Moving over to Dion and Olivia, this episode really sets up tension in big ways between them, because Dion actually goes to Jamal and tries to get a gun, and Jamal instantly questions this. He knows that Dion's trying to stay on the straight and narrow here, so he questions why he wants the gun, and Dion's not giving up this information. But in the end, in this scene, which is still pretty tension-filled, he does end up getting a gun from Jamal, and then ends up bringing it back to over at Olivia's house. And when she finds out that he has a gun, she actually calls her father in there, and that is a really tense scene. Before Olivia's father comes in here, though, Dion actually finds another phone and a receipt for flowers in Olivia's desks. So they're really trying to set her up to be a red herring here, because we know Ghostface sent Kim flowers at the very beginning of this episode. This is actually the point, though, where things really start to heat up in this episode, because, as we know, the officer is coming in. Mr. Olivia's dad is coming in, because I can't remember this character's name right now, but he actually comes in, takes Dion, and they go past the precinct. I'm like, oh wait, is Olivia's father in on this one? Don't worry, he's not. He actually takes Dion out and tries to explain to him about Olivia's issues. And Olivia is apparently really distraught about the separation of Olivia's father and her mother, and he basically is pleading with Dion to try to get some information from him. But this is when Ghostface shows up again and stabs the fuck out of Olivia's father. This is important, guys. We will get back to it after this next scene, which, holy shit, I was not expecting this to happen at all. As I said in earlier spoiler reviews of Scream Resurrection, we were getting sort of a relationship between Amir and Beth. And we actually find out that Beth lives in a mortuary. She drives a hearse. And when he comes up to her, when Amir comes up to her house, she opens the door and he says, "Hey, is Beth here?" Because she's not wearing any makeup. She actually shows Amir what she looks like basically on the inside. And we find out that Amir is no longer a virgin after this episode because they open up to each other and they end up getting it on in this episode. During this scene, though, we find out that someone had texted Dion's name before they were supposed to, before the deadline happened, so that really strengthens Olivia's theory that the killer is one of them, and it's revealed to be Amir is the one that actually texted Dion's name, and that brings Ghostface to Beth's house. That actually brings on our next big kill in Scream Resurrection, and unfortunately, it is the death of Amir. Dude gets it in and dies. You know the rules. No sex in a horror movie. If you do that, you die. It's actually a really brutal death as well because we have Amir running through the basement of the mortuary, and he actually gets inside this elevator, and he thinks he's gotten away from Ghostface, and all of a sudden, a bone saw comes right through his stomach, and as the elevator starts to go up, it actually cuts through his torso. It's really brutal, guys. He actually managed to get out of the elevator and start crawling, and then eventually dies. And it's a really brutal scene for a very sweet character. I always thought that he was, kind of lovable and very innocent, and it was a really brutal death for this character. This episode basically ends with everybody meeting back up with Beth's house. We have Dion, we have Beth, we have Kim, we have Olivia. They all meet up after finding out that Ghostface is over at Beth's house. And this is when the cops show up. And Big Boy is actually in this episode. I didn't even recognize him. And I thought he did a really good job here as one of Olivia's father's friends that's also a cop. They actually arrest Dion in this scene because they find out from Olivia that he was the only one to have been with her father when he got attacked. So of course he gets arrested, and then everyone starts to think that maybe she's the killer a little bit more. All in all, guys, I really liked this episode. It was really starting to raise the stakes here with Ghostface doing something that he doesn't normally do, and I actually really enjoyed that. And I really like the way they're going with the possible suspects for Ghostface. I'm getting really interested in this story, and I can't wait to see where it goes moving forward. So, what did you think of Scream Resurrection Episode 4? Let me know down in the comments down below. If you like this review, guys, make sure to give it a big motherfucking thumbs up. It really helps my channel, and I appreciate it. And if you want to see all my future Scream-related content and everything else I'm putting out, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. That way you get notified about all my future content. And if you want to follow me on social media, all those links are in the description box down below. But most importantly, guys, I'm Zach. This has been the Cavern of Terror. Stay metal, my friends.